Tibago says, I know it's required in the UK for therapists and counsellors to have regular therapy. I think it's monthly. Yes, exactly. I suspect it's a requirement in most places. Yes, I am a big fan of hexagons, as you know. My last 2 streams in a row have both featured hexagonal games. The next game that we'll be playing in our Saturday slot is going to be Egg Potato Man's next game, a sort of mini sequel to Monsters Expedition. The Electrifying Incident, which will not have hexagons. Like Monsters Expedition, it's based on a square grid. But that's okay. We can't always have hexagons. So as you can see, these numbers on the top, by the way, these refer to the number of mines in that entire column. And when I say column, I mean like diagonal column. Fortunately, the game highlights it for you. Otherwise, it would be a bit difficult to see what's going on. We already have marked 4 cells in this column. And we've got a 3 here, so at least one of these must be. And that makes up our 5. So we know that that's clear and that's clear. And it's one of those 2. What's wrong, Harry? What happened? Harry is doing the oh no emote. This 4 is done. Now what? Okay, Emma is now stuck. Let's try drawing. Somebody been posting plushies, says El Tibago. Harry, did you just pin your oh no message and then unpin it again? Harry, what are you doing? Honestly. Right, where was I? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this. So there's... Oh, no, I want the black colour. White colour. There we go. There can only be 1 mine here. So this 2... Well, there could be 1 here and 1 here. And then these would both be empty. And then there'd be 1 there. And that would make 3 in that column. So then that one would be empty. And there'd be mines in those 2. Which means that one would be empty. That would make the 4, which means that one would be empty. And then those would be empty. Okay. But that's only one possibility. The other possibility is there's 1 here and 1 here, and then there's 1 here, and then there's not 1 here. But then we don't know what's up here because we've only got we don't know which side of the 2 they're in. Okay, Emma is already stuck. Harry and El Tibago, what are you laughing about? There's obviously something I'm missing here, and I'm not sure what it is. I thought at first it was something on the Discord, but it's not something on the Discord. Oh well. Maybe after the stream I'll find out what the joke was. Is there something I can do with these? Not your Discord. Oh, someone else's Discord. Have I really got to go and look at other people's Discords in the middle of my stream? Okay, I don't know whose Discord it is. Never mind. That's something I'll have to look at later. Okay, there we've got 2 and we need 3. Then we've got 1. 4. That's only 2. That's only 2. That's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it would be quicker to decide which cells don't have mines in for that 7. We can't actually rule out all of them. Okay, that's 4. That one is 3. This one is 5. Yeah, so it's one of those, which we already knew. Oh, hang on. No, this... I see it. That one... I completely missed that one was actually forced by that 3. Okay, yeah, Emma is clearly too asleep to play this game today. Right, now we can solve it, because that goes there. Yeah, okay. We can do that. Yes, I was talking about how hard these levels are, and then I missed an incredibly obvious deduction. It's not a good sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, so not that one or those. Yeah. Oh, this 3 is done now. There. Okay, the 4 is done. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we can do that 7 now. This 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. One of those 2, so also that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of those. El Tobago says, I don't know why Harry was knowing. But the plushie thing is just something dumb posted in Lana's Discord. Nothing you need worry about on stream. Okay. Very well. Yeah, okay. Devago is making Lana Google things and then regret it. I just make Lana Google things and then be confused. Such as Habosh Babosh, which is apparently a Hungarian TikTok meme, which I don't understand either. Right. I need to remember there are numbers in the corner here. We've only got 2 green ones left. Actually, hang on, is there? Oh, sorry, the full screen is not filling the screen, so the stream is cut off. I apologize for that. There are only 2 green ones left, and we've only got 2 green cells, so I'm going to do that. Then we've got 1 blue there. No more pinks, which is good news. And okay, 3 more in total. One of them is blue. So in other words, there's 1 here, there's 1 here, and there's 1 here. So this, and this all safe, and this. So we can reveal that, and reveal all of these, and reveal those. And then it's that. And also those. And those. And that. Hooray! Actually did one. Okay. This is an interesting one. This is something that comes up a lot in some of the later levels. These tiles here, these are not black spaces. These are actually empty spaces. So the orange cells are tiles that you can click on, and the black ones are not. So like if this was a 1, for example, it would mean that one of these 4 was a mine, not one of the 8 surrounding, which is not something you see in normal Minesweeper. Hello, Mammy Wrestler, welcome in. Who says, howdy pals, how are the brain games today? Well, we've only managed 1 level so far. We did the first 30 of this game, which is called Tometsi, last week. And yeah, I wasn't sure about playing this game. I tend to stick to puzzle games that are probably a little bit more interesting to watch than just pure logic games. However, it seemed to go well last week. But as I said before, I think a lot of that was just I happened to get some raids, and those raids had lurkers in who were lurking, and maybe nobody was actually watching the game. But welcome in, and it's good to see you, and I hope you are having a good Friday. I don't know if it is quite the weekend yet for you, and if it isn't, I hope it is soon. So yeah, this one here, for example, we actually know that it's that one. And then because we've only got 2 oranges left, one of them is here, one of them is here, we can reveal all of these oranges. I'm not going to... sometimes it might look like I'm just magically clicking the right tiles. When the logic is really difficult... Oh, yes. She says as she does it wrong. I'll start again. I'll try to talk through the more difficult logic when I encounter it. But for the most part, I'll probably just play. I think that's the best compromise. We don't have a death counter, by the way. I think it's probably for the best that we don't. Alhuno, welcome in. Alhuno says, best Emma, cutest Emma, wonderful Emma. That's quite the message, Alhuno. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. And I hope you're having a good Friday. Not a good Friday. Good Friday was last week. I mean a good Friday. Best Alhuno, by the way, is a streamer and plays a lot of Kaizo Mario ROM hacks and stuff like that. And I'm going to give him a shout out because anyone who calls me best Emma, cutest Emma, wonderful Emma, I think automatically gets a shout out. There we go. Thank you, Alhuno. Look how cute his emotes are as well. They're amazing. Okay, now we have some slightly more difficult logic. We know that there's 1 mine here, and also there's 1 here, and also there's 1 here. And we only have 3 purple ones left in total. So those three must be those three purple ones, which means that the two purple tiles that we didn't select, those are safe. That didn't get us as far as I hoped it would. Okay, we need another step in the logic. Oh, I know what. Yeah, there's one here, so this 2 is done. Yeah, okay. Okay, and for this final part, again, we have one here, we have one here. This 4, that means we've also got one there. And there's only 3 remaining in total, that's the white number. So these 2 are clear. And that is going to be enough. Hooray! Ooh, more hexagons. I like this one. So they have some really creative designs in this game. This is an example of that. Okay, we've already marked 2 there, so I can go ahead and reveal all of these. When they have a number at the start of a row like this, that does extend all the way across. So it applies to these 4 and these 4 as well, even though there's a gap. All of those. We need 4 in this bottom row. We need 7 in this row. So we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there must be a 7th one there, which means that there's nothing here or here. And then in this bottom row, we've got 1, 2, 3, and there must be another one here. So this cell is safe. Means that. Okay, this is all very easy. Usually when I say it's very easy, I immediately misclick a cell right afterwards, so we'll try not to do that. 4 in this row, 1 here, 1 here, so nothing there. That and that. 6 in this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was hoping it would either be 4 or 6, because then we could fill in both of these or reveal both of those. 2 there, 6. I think we have to look at the diagonals. 2, 5, 4. Aha, 4 here. So 2, we've already got 2 lit up. There's going to be another one there and another one there. And that accounts for all 4. Does that help us? Not really, no. You get that a lot in this game. There's just moments where you think, okay, I've made progress, now what? And the answer is you haven't actually made progress at all. I think I see it. This 4, there can be at most 1 here. There can't possibly be 2 here, which means this has got to be a mine. We can do that. And that means that there has to be exactly 1 there, which means that this is clear. Okay. Yes, that emote captures rather how I'm feeling at the moment, Harry. I agree. Okay, now what? Oh, I think we need to use the numbers on the side again. So the blue number is 2, which means we've only got 2 light blue ones left. One of them is there, one of them is there. So the other 2 light blues are safe. Right, now what? We still don't know which of these ones. Okay, we do know that there's 8 blue ones in total. I see where we make progress. This 6 we've actually highlighted 6 now, so that is safe. That means that there's one here, so we can clear out the rest of that row. That means there's one here to complete the 3. So that, which completes the 6. That completes the 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We win! Oh no. It's my least favourite type of puzzle. Not diagonally adjacent squares. So again, there's no, in the top right corner here, there would be a little symbol saying that diagonals are considered adjacent if they were, but they aren't. So this 1, for example, is referring to one of these cells being a mine. These ones on the corners, those are not considered adjacent to the 1. And we've got weird different size cells. Fortunately, it told me there were 0 light blues, so I can immediately do that. Yeah, the puzzle looks a lot more daunting until you realise that this light blue says 0, so you can just immediately click both of those. And suddenly half of it disappears. You can mark all of these straight away. Okay, this 6 here, we can only have one of those and one of those. And that only leaves 4. So every single one of these must be a mine. And then one of them and one of them. So we can mark those. And then because one of these, we can clear all of those. I don't know why, but mentally counting to 7 is difficult. At the moment, we've only got 2 adjacent, so we'd need to place 5 more out of the 7 spaces we have available. Here we've got 2, so we need 2 more out of 3. This 5 has got 3 already, so it needs 2 more. I feel like this is going to be about counting the blue ones, because we've got three dark blues left. If we look at this 4, if we assume that there's one here, then there has to be, that accounts for at least one of the blues. This 7, if we assume that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then there's at least one blue one here. And then for this 5, actually no, not for the 5. Ignore me. So that's already got 3. Oh yeah, this 4. So this 4 has got 2 at the moment. So even if we assume a third one is there, then the 4th one is one of these blue ones. So we have 3 places where there must be a blue cell that's a mine, and we know there's only 3. So none of the other blue cells are mines. They're all safe, and we can click on all of them. There we go. And we also know that all those things that we said might hypothetically be mines have to be, in order to keep the number of blues down to just 3. So we can mark all of those as well. So that was a huge bit of progress, but it was quite difficult to see. We have a lot more information. Okay, there's 3 around this 4 and 1 of these, so not either of those. The 5 is now done. The 3 is now done. That one. Okay. Now we're back to using the numbers on the side again. There's just 3 left. 2 of them have got to be here. Oh no, sorry. Put 3 round the 4. One of them has got to be there. One of them's got to be there, and one of them's got to be there. So again, every cell we didn't just mark is safe. Hopefully. Yes, okay. And that cell is safe. So then we just work our way through this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one. Ooh. Okay, can we have something else other than squares now, please? Yay, hexagons! All these levels have different names as well, by the way. Some of which are quite simple, some of them are quite creative. This one was called Gosper Island. Don't know why. Some of them are a little more. Lotus Pod 1. Oh, they're a little funny. This one is called Sunrise. Those colours look more like sunset than sunrise to me, but I don't know. Some sort of sunshine colours. Sorry if I seem a little tired for today's stream. My boss was out of the office this week at work, which means that I was having to do his job on top of my own job, which is never much fun. And so unfortunately firstly I was slightly late starting the stream because I was slightly late finishing work. But I'm just tired and fed up, and I was already tired and fed up at the start of the week, so you can imagine how I feel now. But he's back next week, so things should improve then, hopefully. And maybe I'll actually be vaguely alert for one of these streams one day. It would certainly help with my puzzling ability. Hello, Best Sarah with Best Stars. It's good to see you. I hope you're having a good Friday. I did manage to drop in on your stream earlier. Didn't catch very much of it on account of the aforementioned work. But it was good to see that you were streaming, and I'll give you a shout out as well. Everybody, please go follow Sarah with Stars, who is such a kind, caring person. And today, they were doing a game what I've forgotten already. What was it called? Yeah. I was going to cheat and go look at your schedule. Oh, Never Song you were doing, weren't you? Oh no, sorry, that was yesterday. Avowed. Yes, that's right. That's what you were doing today. El Tibago says, what even is the point of having a boss if they ain't there to boss you? Well, if video games have taught me anything, Tibago, it's that bosses are enemies that you should try and defeat. So yeah, you shouldn't let them boss you. No, the problem with them not, but they're actually quite good, to be honest. The problem is when they're not there. It's partly that I have to do their work, which is fine. The biggest problem is that because I'm not in charge, I don't have any of the authority that my boss has, so doing his job is difficult because I have to rely on other people to get things done, not because I can't do them, but because I'm not allowed to do them. And people tend not to take, they don't take me as seriously, they don't believe what I say and so on. And so, you know, what ends up happening is it has to wait for my boss to get back, and then he'll tell them the exact same thing I told them, and then they'll accept it. So that can be annoying. That's not his fault. that's an organizational problem. That's not his problem. But yes, I am not taken this seriously. Maybe it's because I'm a woman now. That's not true, because I wasn't taken seriously before I transitioned either. So, hello, Raven Federtier. Welcome back. Thank you for redeeming your second flower of the day, which is a field maple. And I know what you're thinking. Maples aren't flowers, they're trees. Well, no, trees are flowers too. And maple blossom is actually quite pretty. Raven says that doesn't sound very nice. I'm sorry. Oh, don't worry, I'm just moaning about work because it's been a long week. It's fine. Compared to everything else that's going on in my life, it's a fairly minor thing. But yeah, my life would be easier if, well, either I had less work or I had the same amount of work, but people actually took me seriously, because then the work would get done. And I suspect there's a lot of people in positions like that, where you're kind of you're in a junior position, but you have senior level responsibilities. At least when your superiors are out of the office. And you know, I've been in the same job 14 years, so I do, you know, I have the level of experience necessary to know what to do in these situations. It's not that I'm not sure what to do. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's one more here. Have I done this right? There's three mines left. That's this number in the corner. One of them is definitely here. One of them is definitely here. But there's not necessarily one here. There could be one here, or there could not be one here. If there's one here, then this is empty, which means there's one here. Which means that this is empty, which means there's one here. But likewise, if this is empty, then there must be one here, which means that this one is empty, which means there's one here, and this one is empty. And then we've only accounted for 2 of them, which means that there's a third one, like, over here somewhere. I think I know how to make progress. So with the 5, we've already marked 4 of them, and we know that either this one or this one. So that actually does make up 5, which means that none of these 3 are mines. Okay, yeah, that's how we make progress. And then depending on what we reveal down here, we'll know whether it's 2 or 3 up here. Yeah, so that we found another mine. So now we know there's only 2 here. So now we know that cell is empty. Okay, that was tricky. But it was only tricky at the end. Sarah Stars says, we are cheering for you. What, in this game or at work? Ooh, this is a pretty one. LTBago says, I also wouldn't do things that people who upload side-eye emotes to everybody on Slack tell me to. Or was it Teams? It was Microsoft Teams, yes. And I did accidentally upload Gertrude's side-eye for the entire organization, not just for myself. Fortunately, nobody noticed. Most of them are not particularly technically literate. So I can now do that to my work colleagues. And trust me, there are plenty of moments in my working day when I feel like doing that. For example, I mean, obviously I can't talk about my job too much, but I'll give you an example of something I had to deal with today, which was we have a network share where we keep all of our stuff, and that network share is only about 500 gigabytes. And I know 500 gigabytes sounds like a lot of data, but it isn't. Individual batches of data from individual customers can be 8 or 9 gigabytes per day. What we used to do was we're required to hold the data for 30 days. That's like our data retention policy that we've agreed with our clients. We used to keep the data around for 14 days, and then we'd shuffle it off to an archival share, which is slower but bigger capacity. Personally, I think they should invest in a 1 terabyte high-speed disk. The cost of such a thing is minuscule compared to the value of the business we generate, but that's out of my hands. I don't make infrastructure purchasing decisions. 500 gigabytes. But then customers started sending even more data, or more accurately, less efficient data. They like to send us PDF documents. They send each individual document they send us as a separate PDF file, and it's not a well formatted PDF. It's just a scan, so it's an image basically. So it's like, if they send us 10,000 documents and they're a megabyte each, that's 10 gigabytes. Now we can't even hold 14 days worth of stuff. We can only hold 7 days of stuff. So we changed it to only keep the stuff on there for 7 days. But then we had another problem, which was, believe it or not, it takes more than 7 days to actually print a job sometimes. And so the print ops were going looking for stuff that wasn't there. And so they kept telling me to put the stuff back on, and I'd have to go to the archival server, find it, copy it back over, which would take ages. Make sure we weren't going to run out of disk space. And the problem was our data retention. We have like this automated data retention process. As soon as I copied the file back, the automated data retention process goes, oh, that file's older than 7 days. I'm going to put it in the archive now. And so before they'd actually managed to print it, it had copied it back over again. So I had to turn off the automated data retention system, which then set off alarm bells because, oh no, we're in breach of our data retention policy. We weren't. So then I had to make an emergency change to the data retention program to now it puts some of the files to the archive after 7 days, but if it thinks that the print ops are going to need it for longer, it will leave it there for longer. But, and this took about 2 hours out of my day. None of that would have been necessary if they just bought another hard disk. The amount of the cost benefit analysis is off there somewhere. Anyway, this very pretty level, and interestingly, the numbers. There's exactly one of these big purple squares is a mine, and the other one isn't. Exactly one of the pink ones is, and exactly one of the orange ones is. And then also 2 of the green ones. And I suppose some of the grey ones as well. So these numbers add up to 5, which means 4 of the grey ones are mines. Okay. What can I actually do with that information? Well, let's... this is what you have to sort of do in the advanced levels of this game is you make an assumption and then you try and derive a contradiction from it. It's very mathematical. So I'll try and do an example here. One of these big purple squares is a mine and one isn't. So let's assume that this one is a mine, which means that this one is safe. The fact that that one's safe means that this square and this square have to be mines, which means that and that are safe. Which would mean that this 3 is now completed, so that would be safe. So to satisfy the 2, that would have to be 1. This one is already completed, so this, this, and this would be blank. To satisfy the 3, we would have to have this, this, and this be mines. And now we've reached a contradiction, because there are only 2 green cells that are mines, and yet we've just marked off 4 green cells as being mines. So our initial assumption here must be wrong. Therefore, this square must be safe. Phew. Okay, my logic worked. And therefore, this one must be a mine, and then we can proceed from that. So you do find yourself doing that a lot in later levels of the game. So now we know all the green ones are safe. For this 3, it has to be one of these and then that one. So this one is safe. That one is not safe. And then here with this 2, to satisfy this 2, at least one of these must be a mine, which means that one is safe, which means that one is the mine. I knew that one was the mine. I literally just pressed the wrong mouse button. Emma, you idiot. Okay, I'm just going to go back through it because I know the answer now. It's okay. I'm not cheating. I worked it out logically. I just literally pressed the wrong mouse button. Stupid Emma. Okay. What am I like? I say, oh yeah, this is the safe one, and then I go and click the other one. This is why I don't work as a bomb disposal technician. Oh yeah, the red wire is the one to cut. Cuts the green wire. Actually, there are several reasons I don't work as a bomb disposal technician. But that's one of the reasons. Okay, let's go do this. There we go. See, I can do it. T-Bagger says 8 terabyte enterprise drives cost like nothing, not exactly high speed. Yeah, it would be a few £100 to give us the. Well, actually, it would be less than that. We have spare storage available. The infrastructure team just don't want to provision it to us because they say we have enough. But their idea of how much storage we need comes from the days when everyone used to send us data as flat files. They didn't send us PDFs. And it's a several order of magnitude different in the file sizes of the data files that are coming across. So, okay, it's squares again, but at least it's diagonally adjacent squares, which are the ones that I'm a bit better with. So this is more like just regular Minesweeper, which is why I'm playing it a lot faster, because I'm more accustomed to the patterns that you get with this sort of grid. Actually, I can use the fact that there's 2 red ones to do that, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, quite a big difference in speed when it's a grid like that. So this is this is the sort of thing that I really like this game for, because you don't get. I haven't seen this in any other Minesweeper type game, and there are a lot of that type of game out there. This sort of zigzag brick pattern. So every cell is touching 7 other cells, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 6. Yeah, sorry, 6 other cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so every cell is touching 6 other cells. But the fact that some of them are horizontal and some of them are vertical, it does make it tricky to see what's going on. Like visualizing which cells are next to which other cells is not straightforward. So if you're if you like this sort of game but you're a bit bored of regular Minesweeper type games, this is like something you're not going to be like naturally good at already, because there are no other games like this really that I know of. Those, that one. Cells within cells within cells interlinked. There is a game, it's not this game, there is a game out there that's like infinite recursive Minesweeper. So the entire board is embedded within itself. So you have a normal square grid, but one of those square cells is a copy of the whole grid. And the numbers that you get on the cells adjacent to that copy of the grid are the number of mines in all the cells along the edge of the grid. So you can get some very high numbers. I would like to play that game. Maybe I won't play it immediately after this one on account of you might be a bit bored of Minesweeper type games after this for a while. So it might be a future stream subject. But yeah, there is a game. The game is called Bombe with an E, as in BOMBE. And it's not about electromechanical code-breaking devices from World War II. As interesting a subject though that is. It's a Minesweeper type game, but you don't solve the levels yourself. You program a computer, in effect, to solve the levels for you. You define rules for a solver to use to solve the levels. So that combines Minesweeper type games with programming games, which are another thing I'm a fan of. But it quickly becomes impossible to follow along with what's actually happening, sometimes even for the person playing it. So it's going to be even less viewer-friendly than this one. But maybe I'll play it one day, because, you know, this is my stream. You can't tell me what to do. Okay. I appear to be a bit stuck now. This 3 needs one more. This 2 needs one more. This 4 needs 2 more out of 3. We know it's one of those. We know it's one of those. And we know it's one of those. And we know it's one of those. So there's like a whole chain of deductions. Like if this is a mine, we know that's clear, which means that's a mine, which means that's clear, which means that's a mine. But equally, if that's clear, then that's a mine, which means that's clear, and that's a mine. If that's clear, which means those are mines. So it's like the exact opposite. Like we can't deduce anything from that. Am I missing something here? No, because these two obviously can't both be clear, but this one could be a mine, and then this one be clear, and then these two. Or alternatively, these cells are big enough I can write both possibilities next to each other. Option 1 is that one's a mine, that one's clear, these are both mines. Option 2 is this one is clear, this one is a mine, and then one of these two is a mine. And that means none of them are either guaranteed safe or guaranteed a mine. What am I missing? Oh, I mean, you idiot. Okay, I'm missing the fact that there are no purples left. I need to remember to look at these numbers in the corner. I always forget. Okay, there are no purples left, which I can do this. That's what I was missing. Silly Emma. Harry was probably sitting there going, "Silly Emma, you've missed the number in the corner." I'm sure Harry would solve these levels instantly without even thinking about it. Yeah, I think that this is the sort of games that certain people would enjoy watching and then other people wouldn't. Like, I think Ren would enjoy watching these, but the problem with streaming on a Friday is Ren can't be here for most of the stream because he's working. So maybe I just chose the wrong day to play this on. But I chose it as my try to get back into streaming game. So that's why we're doing it on a Friday. To be honest, I'm amazed I've got this far and not made any mistakes. Okay, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. So this one is safe. 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there are 6 cells around it and the whole thing is surrounded. There we go. Hexagons! Finally. This level is actually called Flexigon. Math nerds among you, or maths nerds if you're British, might know what a Flexigon is. Advanced nerds might even know what a hexaflexigon is. I just think hexagons are the bestigons. But I've already used that stream title now, so I have to think of something else. And I couldn't really think of anything today, so you've just got a boring title. Oops. Easy says, and the mega nerds will know about hexaflexigons. Well, I wasn't sure if they could handle that. Got to ease them into it slowly. Yes. But you are quite right, Izzy. Right, well, have I run out of things? Oh, purples probably. One there, one there. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So, that one, that one, that one, and that one are all not safe. So don't click them. Click the safe ones. Right, well, the answer can't be look at the coloured ones now because we've run out of them. It's going to be look at the total. So there's one round here, there's one here, and there's one here. And we've only 3 left. So all of this is actually empty. Yeah. It's obvious when you click on it, but you've got to have the confidence to click on it to begin with. There we go. Ooh, okay. Oh, this one is called Sunset. Okay, so according to this game, sunrise colours look like that, and sunset colours look like that. Interesting. I suppose that's actually true. I really like this one because it looks like a sun in the middle. I don't so much know about this one because I don't so much like this one because these triangles are really hard to work with. Trying to count how many other triangles they're touching. So I think we start here with this. When you've got 2 numbers next to each other that are quite different, like one's big and one's small, usually a good place to start. Because we've got a 1 and a 4 next to each other. There are only 5 triangles around this 4. One of them must be one of these. So these 3, and then one of these to make the 4, which means these ones are empty. Where we go from there, I'm not sure. There aren't any more 1s and 4s next to each other. This 2, we can say one of these 2 and that one, so these are empty. We've got to do a bit more reasoning to solve this top row. One of those is a mine, which means exactly 2 of these are mines, meaning that at least one of these is a mine, which means that at most one of these is a mine, which means both of these must be. So we can actually say both those, and then one of those, and one of those, which completes the 2, which means that one is safe. And then we can actually say, well, now we know actually there's exactly one there, there's exactly one there, and there's exactly one there. So this one is a mine. Right, what else can we say? Oh, now that we've found 2 of the 3 for this 3, this is effectively a 1. There's only 1 left that we haven't found. So we've got a 1 next to 4 again. So we know all of them and one of them. Oh, heck. Stupid Emma, there's only 4 touching the corner, so the 4 is just all of them. I could have got that from the start. Yes, I said at most, not ratmost. It's not the same thing. Okay, that 3 is completed. That 1 is completed. One of these to complete the 3, which means these are all safe. One of these, which means these are safe. Okay, now what? We've got a 5 next to a 2. I feel like we ought to be able to infer something from that. Because with a 5, that means there's only 1 space. There's only 1 of the triangles around this 5 that isn't a mine. And if we imagine that both of these are mines, and then it's one of these 2, that completes this 2, and then that would mean all of these would have to be empty, and that would break this 3. This 3 is now broken because we've said these 2 are spaces, and we've only got 2 left. So again, our original assumption must be false. So we can't put 2 mines here. It means we can only put 1 there, which means that's where the gap is. So that means both of these, and then 1 here. And also 1 here, as we just established. So both of those, 1 here, 1 here. That means neither of these. These 1s are actually only touching this central hexagon, so this central hexagon must be a mine. And then... now what? At some point we need to use the coloured numbers. We haven't used the coloured numbers at all so far this game, this level. The orange number doesn't help us at all. We already know this 3 there. The purple number, so the purple number says there's 6 purple ones. We know there's 1 there. We know there's 1 there, and we know there's 1 there. You know, there's 1 there. That's 4. Okay, so we know both of these are mines because they're the only remaining purple ones. See, remembering to use the coloured numbers. It's always the answer, except when it isn't. Okay, blue. Okay, the blue number is not helpful. It just tells us there's one there, which we already knew. The purple number now just tells us there, and there. We have got the pink number and the red number. The pink number tells us there are 4 pink ones. There's definitely one there. And then there's at least one here. There could be 2, but there's at least one there. And there's at least one there. But there's not, no, there's not guaranteed to be one there. So actually, we can't deduce anything from the pink ones. Okay. Must be somewhere I can make progress. Yeah, with this 3, if it's that these 2 are both mines to complete the 3, that would complete the 2. So these would all be empty. And now we've broken the 4 because we can only fit 3 around it. So these can't both be mines. The only way these are not both mines is if that one is mine. Means that one's safe. And then there is exactly one here. And then yeah, then we can look over this side. So here, if we know that there's one here. So we can ask, where is the second mine around this 2? And it must be here to help complete this 4. So there can't be any here or here. These are both safe, which means this 2, it has to be those 2. And now that's completed. Yeah, so now we can actually solve everything, I think. Because, yeah, one there, which means all of those. That means that and that. The 3 is now done. That's done. Oh, no, yeah, no reds left, so not that one. Both of those. There we go. And the sun has set. Pointed, this one is called. Okay, difficult start. I don't see anything else we can do. Sarah with Stars says, God, you are brilliant. I mean, I have a very specific and completely useless in real life ability to do these puzzles, Sarah. I would be completely lost trying to play the sort of games you play. Like if you handed me a copy of Elden Ring and told me to beat one of the bosses, I would not have a clue where to start. So, you know, everybody is good at these things in their own way. You know, and this, yeah. The number of people who enjoy watching Elden Ring is probably bigger than the number of people who enjoy watching this. So you've got that going for you. Right, now what? It to do with this 4? One there, one there, one there. Well, that's 3, which is almost 4. But is not in fact 4. Yes, the things you come here to learn on Emma's stream, like the fact that 3 is slightly less than 4. I think we need to use the blues. Well, obviously there's 1 here and 2 here. Like we've got numbers that tell us that. But there's 1 here, and if we want to complete this 4, we've either got to put 1 here and 1 here, and then 1 here. Or if we put both here, that would complete this 2, which means all of that was empty. Does that break anything? No, it actually doesn't break anything. Sarah Stars says, so glad this streaming lark has improved your ability to accept compliments with the sentiment they are presented. Yeah, as Tibago says, this was just an excuse to draw a smiley face and see if anyone notices. I'm glad that you admire my puzzling ability, Sarah. I do appreciate that. It's just, yeah, it doesn't follow from that I'm brilliant, because that implies that other people aren't brilliant, and everybody is different in their own way, and I want to make that clear. I don't want anybody to be here watching this, especially not you, Sarah, thinking, oh well, I have no clue to how to do that, therefore I'm not intelligent or whatever, because obviously you are. That's my point. I want people to remember that. Yeah, because look, I'm still stuck. Maybe we can use the orange number. So the orange number says there's 6 orange ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Okay, yeah, we can actually account for 6 mines in the orange area, which means the remaining orange ones are not mines. It means we can click on them and not die, which is nice. And maybe that's enough to let us make progress. Yes. Yeah, but the answer is always the numbers in the corner, except when the answer isn't the numbers in the corner, and then the answer is something else. In fact, with these levels with the numbers on the side, the general way to solve them is try and solve the clues on the board, and then if you get stuck, look in the corner, and if that still doesn't help, look at these column headings. That's usually the order I go in of trying to solve them. The 4 means those 2. Okay, now can we account for all 4 of these? 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Okay, yeah, we can actually account for all 4 of those, so that one is empty. There we go. Yes, Sarah, I know I'm bad at accepting compliments. I just am, okay? There's nothing you can do about it. 3, 1, 2, 3. 4. Oh, hang on, now what? Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course, numbers in the corner. So the numbers in the corner say there's 3 left. There's 1 here, and this number tells us that there's 1 more in this column, and this number tells us that there's 1 more in this column. But these 2 columns intersect here. So if there was a mine in this bottom cell where they intersect, then that would count for both columns, and then there'd only be 2, and they can't be 2 because it says there's 3. So this is safe. And now we know that there's 1 here and 1 here, which completes the 2. And now we know there's 1 here, which means it's not that one. And now we're done. Squares. I don't like squares. Bring back the hexagons. Okay, the squares, we just have to get through the squares so that we can have hexagons again. That's what we have to think. Do the squares, put up with the squares so that you get more hexagons. At least they're diagonally adjacent squares. It could be worse. It could be much worse. Although they are squares with numbers on the sides, which are probably my least favourite type of squares. Yes, thank you, Harry. Is there a hexagon emoji? There isn't, is there? Yeah, this is blatant discrimination by the Unicode Consortium, making triangle, square, and circle emojis, but not hexagon emoji. I'll have to add a hexagon emote at some point. I wish my emote slots weren't so full, because I'll have to give up one of them. Actually, not entirely, because there are 6-petaled flowers. I think most of my flowers at the moment are 4 or 5. Yeah, 5. So you see, pentagons are also good. Pentagons are not the bestagons because they don't tile the plane infinitely, but they are still good. And I do like 5-sided symmetry in flowers. But yeah, I'll bring back the daffodil emote. At the moment, it's the tier 2 sub overlay, but I'll bring it back as an emote. And then we have a flower with hexagonal symmetry. Izzy says there is a Unicode hexagon. Okay, I shouldn't be too harsh on the Unicode consortium, I guess. It's just not an emoji. Yeah, I suppose the fact it's not an emoji makes it a bit small. Like, on my screen, you can barely tell that that's a hexagon and not a circle, unless you look really closely. But that's a case of the font size, I guess. Thank you for sharing your hexagon, Izzy. Tiny on mine too, yeah. Okay. Right, back to the puzzle. Yeah, see if Sarah is having trouble seeing the hexagons that we are sharing. And you know, I want my streams to be accessible. Which means my emote should be clear and easily. I suppose the gigantify an emote button. Maybe it should allow you to gigantify Unicode characters as well. Ah, look, T-Bago has hexagon emotes. Where did you get those from? Hyper. Do I have those? No, I don't have them. Were they part of some special promotion, T-Bago? I'm sad I missed it now. It just says limited time only emote. From some promo ages ago. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to make my own. They're from when noted disaster of a game Hyperscape launched. Okay. Clearly having hexagons was not enough to save it. I don't remember that game. Perhaps it's best that I don't. Oh, Ubisoft free to play. Yeah, okay. I've seen enough. It was a battle royale that entirely failed to find an audience. Yeah. Well, battle royale games are not my sort of game. Let's put things that way. I don't think I'll ever be playing Fortnite or that sort of thing on stream. Okay, why am I struggling so much with this? We say that this one is mine, then all of these are empty, which forces ones here and here and here, which means those are empty, which means no, all of those are empty. Have we broken anything yet? No, we haven't. Okay. What if alternatively that was a mine? So now these are empty and that's a mine. That still doesn't break anything. Okay, and I think for once the answer is not in the corner either. I don't think we've solved enough yet for that to work. Let me look a bit more. If there's one, oops, no, if there's one here, then these are both empty. And those are both empty. So that is possible. I prove that there's one in the middle here? Like this, I'm thinking maybe it's to do with this 2 in the heading. So if there were 2 here, is that possible or not? That would force this, which would force this, which would force this. It is possible. And that would force all of these to be empty. Does that break anything for there? Yeah, that actually just, I was hoping that that would break something and I could go, okay, at least we know there's not 2 there, but I don't think we can. I've never played Fork Knife, says Debago, and Harry says the game shut down 3 years ago on the 28th. Okay. I mean, I could skip this level and come back to it. But I didn't want to skip levels because I did want to do them all. But maybe that's not going to be an option. Let me just do... Am I missing something that's forced here? If that's a mine, that's clear. That's clear. That's clear. Means that's a mine. And if that's a mine, that's clear. That's clear. That's clear. Ah, okay. It's very subtle. But okay. So the top left dot is white if it's forced to be clear if this is clear, and black if it's forced to be a mine if that's clear. The bottom right dot is based on if this one is clear. So if the 2 dots are the same color, that means that that's forced no matter what. So this is actually forced to be empty no matter what. That was a lot of hassle to make progress on one space, but that's what happens in this game. Now I can actually make some progress. Okay. That is the level that you have to go to. One there means 2 there. Still can't make use of this 2, I don't think. Yeah, we didn't get very far. Okay, sudden jump in difficulty compared to the previous level as well. So for this 3, if I say that there's one here and this isn't one and that is one. Black on blue is not a particularly clear color, is it? Let's replace that with red. So I'm hypothesizing that there's one there, and that this is clear, and there's one there, which would mean there's one there, which means there's one there, which means there's one there, which would mean those are clear. Or alternatively, if I say that this is a mine, these are clear, then that's empty, means these are both mine, which means both those are empty, which means, aha, right, we have a contradiction, I think. Yes. So if we say that these are both mines, then this 2 is broken because we can only got space for one more mine. So they're not both mines, which means that's one, which means this isn't. Hooray! Sorry, I'll try not to play too many of these levels where it's think for 5 minutes and then click one square. Because, yeah. Eldebago says the sticky plant will have to wait. I found something else that I must request. Oh dear. I'm suspicious when Tibago says something like that. Yeah, Harry is a bit worried as well. Okay, this two. There's only 3 cells left now in this column, and we still don't know which 2 it is. Yeah, it could be these 2, and then this one is empty. And the effect of that is that there's one here, and then that's empty. Which means there's one there and one there. We've looked at that. And then that one's empty. And also these 2 are empty, which means there's 3 around there. And then 1 there. Yeah. It doesn't break anything though. And the effect of having this one be a mine is there's still one there and one there. That doesn't change. Now there's only one here, which means there's one here. Yeah, right. Is it finally time to use the blue numbers? There's 4 blue ones left. One of them is definitely there. And then there are 3 more. I don't think... No, we can't actually say which of those 3 it is yet. What about this 8? That seems crazy, but we've got 1, 2, 3. There's got to be at least one... I don't know, there's got to be at least 2 here. So that's 4, 5. And then either this or this. So 6. Yeah, 6 is less than 8 though. Breaking news. 6 discovered to be less than 8. Mathematicians in shock. I know, you're shocked too, T-Bago. This is puzzle number 42, so that might be the reason. Solving this puzzle will answer the question of life, the universe, and everything. Right, I can see progress here, but it's not helpful. It can't be these 2, so it's got to be these 2 and one of them, and then one of them, which means those 2. Doesn't actually help us though. Harry's also making notes on mathematical truths. Maybe if I use purple instead of red. I don't mean yeah, it's not any easier to see. I'm just hoping that the presence of purple will somehow infuse itself into my brain and I'll know what to do. Still missing something. This 4, it's got to be those 3 because there can only be one there. I can do that and that and that. But I still don't know. Oh, I know not that one now. I know not those. Is this gonna help? I'm in completely a different area of the puzzle than I thought I'd be, but I think this is actually helping. Okay, yeah, I found how to make progress, fortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there. Having 3 different journals and notebooks doesn't help either. What you mean? 3 different notebook emotes, or you actually have 3 different notebooks to write things in? You don't actually have to write down that 8's bigger than 6, by the way. Everyone is now doing that. It's really not necessary, I promise. Both, okay. Yeah, I'm stuck again. Let's try to make a contradiction. So let's assume that this cell is clear. Then these two are okay. Yeah, the purple is actually not visible. What's a color that shows up on the grey and the dark blue and the light blue, but is not white because I'm already using white? What about light green? It doesn't show up very well, but we'll go with it. Except that you've got to remember that green means there's a mine there. Like, so green is bad, not good. Okay. So there'll be 2 there, the 1 there, which means there'd not be 1 there, which means there'd be 1 there, which means there'd not be any there, which means there'd be not any there. Okay, so far nothing broke. If we instead assume that there's 1 here, we can't infer anything about this, but we know that's clear, that's a mine, that's clear, which means 1 of these 2, which means we would know that these are clear and that there's 1 here. But we don't know that for sure because it's not true in the other case. And then 1 of these 2, so we don't know where that one is for that 4. So that actually doesn't tell us anything. So there must be a deduction to make somewhere else. Now can we use the blue numbers? So there's 1 there, there's 1 there. Okay, so the blue numbers tell us that either this is 1 or that's 1. But not both. Okay, let's think about this. Let's assume that this is 1, and then that's not 1, and that's not 1, which means that is 1, which means that's not 1, which means that is 1. Just because that seems... Yeah, we already know that happened. That seemed most likely to reach contradictions. We've coloured in 2 of the green ones. Of the blue ones, sorry. So the 3rd one would be there, so that would be forced to be clear. Yeah, that doesn't help us, though. Like, if we knew it was that one and not that one, we could open up all of this and then that. But we don't know that. And if we assume that this one is clear and then work logically from there... Actually, nah. This being clear doesn't even imply that, because these could both be clear. We haven't eliminated that possibility. Yeah, that's still also allowed. And if that was the case, yeah, now we've only marked 1 dark blue, so that would be a mine. So actually, we'd know that these 2 are clear. None of this forces anything, though. What am I missing? That was a rhetorical question, by the way. I don't expect anyone else to notice. Okay, we might have to skip this level and come back to it because I was not expecting to get this stuck this quickly. I have solved these before, but it was some time ago. We haven't revealed enough of the blue ones for them to be helpful yet. Okay, what about the top numbers? What is 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and so the 5th one has to be there, so that one is clear. And these two are mine. Oh, that might help us. Okay. That's what I was missing. Sorry, I will try and speed this up, I promise. 1, 2, there, and there. There. Now we can do that, which we were talking about doing earlier. Yes, drink water is probably a good idea. Stretch is probably also a good idea. Thank you, T-Bogo. What on earth is that plant?
Babies' tears, angels' tears, peace in the home, bits and pieces, bread and cheese, Corsican creeper, Corsican curse, friendship plant, mind your own business, Pollyanna vine, Paddy's wig, mother of thousands, Celerolia solarulae.
Mind your own business. That's a great name. If someone points to the plant and goes, "What's that?" you can go, "Mind your own business." I have heard of that plant, but I didn't know it had that many names. It's also fun to watch the text-to-speech struggle trying to pronounce Latin names almost as much as I do. Let me try and finish this level, and then we'll do the redeem, and I will try and be a bit less slow, I promise. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 2 there and 1 there, which means there's going to be 1 there. So that's 6, and then 7, 8. 1 there. For this 6, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that just tells us there's 2 out of those 4. That's not helpful. Two blues, so we do know that one, so we can do that. And only 1 light blue. Again, we don't know which one. It's not that one. This is complete now. One, 2, 3, 4. So those. That one. There. There. Okay, we might actually be getting somewhere. We've done that corner at least. Back over here. So definitely one of those and one of those. 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 Yeah, it's just going around the board saying it's one of those and one of those is not helpful. Okay, if we assume it is that one, then we get that, the 8. These 2 are both empty. This blue one is a mine, which we know one of the blue ones has to be. And then it's either one of those and that one, or one of those. Yeah, that still only completes 3 out of the 4. 2 out of that 5. Okay, and the alternative, if this is empty, Yeah, I think we are supposed to reason based on that blue number. If we say this is a mine, then we worked out that this had to be one. And that was our one blue one. If we say that this has to be a mine, then we deduce that this is our blue one. And so if we say that this is a mine, then the deduction goes wrong because all the blue ones have to be mines. We know it's impossible. So it's not this middle blue one. Okay, but that's a 3. That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. We know one of them, one of them. Do we know that it's one of these? Does anything break if we assume it's these two? Obviously, that would mean that was all clear, which would be nice if we could prove that. No, I don't think that does break anything. Likewise, if we assume there's just one there, so one there, there. Actually, I don't know why I'm drawing it like that. It would have to be this one. Yeah. That's what I'm missing. This can't be one because of the 1 and of the 5 and the 1. Okay. So that helps us a bit because we know 2 out of them, so we can clear those. Come on, Emma. That one and one of those, so not that one. There's too many 3s. It's just 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 everywhere. These common names are deranged, T-Bago, but I do know it as mind your own business, as Sarah does. Okay, we know that there's exactly one in each of them. If there's exactly one here, rather than at least one or at most one, then this is a mine. Okay, that's what we were supposed to do. We can clear out this tangle of 3s. There's even more 3s. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, 6 here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't know that yet. Well, yeah, we know there's one there. We know there's one there. Don't look at me, look at the botanist. No, it's not botanists, T-Bago. Botanists use Latin names for plants. The common names are thought up just by local people where the plant grows wild or by gardeners. Don't blame the botanists. We just wrote down the stupid names that other people came up with for their plants. Okay, if this is one, then that's not one, which means those are both. And then also not those. And if that's the case, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would have to be 1. These 2 would have to be empty. And that would break the 3. Okay, so I think this being a mine breaks this 3. Phew, okay. I was correct. I'm always worried that I've made an error in my deduction and that that's not actually true. So because there has to be one here, there can only be one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So this one and this one have to be. So that makes the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 2 in here as well. And like it can't be those 2 because then this 4 would be incomplete. It can't be those 2. So yeah, I think it can't be this one at all. No, it can't be this one at all. It's going to be both them and that one. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. God, why are you giving me 6s now? Right, there's 5 left. There's 7 in this column. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So that's 1. And then there's also there's 4 left now, and one of them's there, one of them's there, and 2 of them are there because we've got 4 around the 6, so that means those 2. So then okay, now it's got to be those 2. This is bear in mind this is still in the first half of the game. This is like easy to medium difficulty for this game. So yeah, I don't know, maybe this will be the last stream of it. I don't know. We'll see how the stream goes. I think, as I say, last week's stream was an anomaly because I got raided 4 times, so it doesn't count. Right, let's do some botany, shall we? So LT Bago, I will go and find your bread and cheese, your baby's tears, your mother of thousands. These names don't sound like they're describing the same plant. Also, if you Google mind your own business, does it even give you the plant? Okay, the plant is the second result. I'm pleasantly surprised. Now I have to have find a picture of it, preferably one with flowers. So yeah, I think the name Pollyanna is the most commonly used name. I've seen it as Pollyanna in garden centers before, I think. So yeah, it is a garden plant. There are several varieties of it, with slight different colours in the leaves and the flowers. I'm just trying to find a good. It doesn't have very conspicuous flowers, and nobody bothers taking a picture of them. That's sort of a picture of the flower, and lots of pictures of the leaves, like one for example. Go. And I think I've only recorded it once. And that's when I was with Dr. Crouch, because I do remember asking her, what is this plant? And she said, mind your own business. And I thought, that's a bit rude. But I did already know that that was a name for a plant. Let me get the book and we'll see what it has to say. Of course, that's easy for you to say, Emma. Other book. Here we go. Mind your own business. That's the common name that the book uses. An evergreen, procumbent, carpet-forming perennial herb, frequently escaping from gardens and greenhouses and found in lawns and on pavements. Steps, damp paths, shaded banks, stream sides, sandstone outcrops, drains, gutters, ditches, roadside walls, churchyards and cemeteries. It is somewhat frost and drought sensitive and favours damp, intermediately fertile, basic substrates. Its capacity for spreading into the wider environment and tolerance of weed killers has led to it being categorised as an invasive species. But gardeners suggest it as ground cover to prevent weeds in amenity plantings and on living walls. So yeah, as you can tell from the picture, it's good at spreading out, covering an area, which keeps the weeds down in a garden. But obviously, in the wild, you don't want it covering an area and keeping all the other plants away, because that makes it invasive. So yeah, it's not really something you want in the wild. It has been cultivated in Britain since 1901. And was recorded as naturalised by 1917. It is a frequent escape from gardens, and its distribution has increased significantly since the 1960s, with a considerable extension of range northwards and eastwards. Northwards and eastwards. Emma can't read. From its headquarters in southwestern England. Eastwards from its headquarters, not east waters from its headquarters. Look, my brain isn't wired correctly, okay? You've got to tolerate these things. So, yeah, early part of the 20th century, it was found in southwest England. I believe the first record in the wild was in Cornwall. And it slowly made its way up from Cornwall into the rest of southern England, and then the Midlands, and then the north. The increases continued, including along the Scottish coast, as far as Inverness. So, like most garden plants, its distribution somewhat aligns with population density. You see it more in populated areas and less in non-populated areas. But it is quite happy to survive and spread in the wild on its own. So some garden escapes will only get a couple of miles from the garden at most before they stop spreading. Others will happily go on their merry way across the country, and I think this is one of those. We have a raid. Hello, Creep Twin and raiding friends. Welcome in. Good to see you. Creep Twin, you've arrived just in time for our botany segment. I know the stream title says we're doing logic puzzles, but right now we're looking at this plant I have up on the screen in front of me, which is called Mind Your Own Business, which I'm sure you'll agree is a silly name for a plant. It actually has several common names, which Altibago did post earlier. So for the benefit of the raiders, this plant is also known as Baby's Tears, Angel Tears, Peace in the House, Bits and Pieces, Bread and Cheese, Corsican Creeper, Corsican Curse, Friendship Plant, Mind Your Own Business, Pollyanna Vine, Paddy's Wig, and Mother of Thousands. I've only heard two of those names personally. It doesn't have much in the way of flowers, which is a little disappointing for my channel because we're all about flowers here. And I will share some flower emotes with you now to prove that. There we go. But the thing with this plant is it's very good at ground cover. So people plant it a lot in their gardens, but it likes to escape into the wild. and spread on its own, and having a wild plant, a plant in the wild that's good at ground cover means it smothers all the other plants, so it can be a bit invasive. Creep Twin says we played Flower earlier, so it's fitting. Aha! Raid synergy going on, sort of, even though I'm playing a completely different game. Creep Twin, thank you so much for that raid. Everybody do go click that button that my mods kindly put up on top of Creep Twin's channel, and I'm just peeking to see what you were streaming. Because you mentioned, Flower and Journey, yes. I will put the mind your own business back now. Do give Creep Twin a follow if those things appealed to you. I haven't played, believe it or not, I haven't played Flower, which I know seems out of place on my channel, but I have heard of that game. And for anybody joining me for the first time, my name is Emma. I am here every Friday and Saturday and possibly also Sundays. And I am a big fan of puzzle games. Not just hard logic puzzles, although that's what we're doing today. I play other kinds of puzzle games as well. And sometimes I even play things that are not puzzle games, although that's quite rare. And when I'm not playing video games on the internet, I am a botanist in real life. So I enjoy sharing my love of pretty flowers with everybody. We have a little redeem for 1,000 channel points. You can pick any British wildflower and I will talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes. We also have a redeem for just 10 channel points where you can get your own flower of the day every time you come to the stream. You get your own British wildflower. And apparently you get raids as well. Hello, Narcissistic. Thank you for raiding. Welcome into Narcissistic, and also Hooded Squirrel, apparently, who says, look out. Narcissistic's flock is on the loose and charging right for the coolest streamer. Oh, well, there they go. I hope they find them. Do let me know if you find the coolest streamer. I'm afraid I have no idea where they are. That was 2 raids in a row. Yes, thank you so much to both Creep Twin and Narcissistic. Narcissistic let us know what you were streaming and whether it was successful. And I'm gonna peek at what you were streaming without getting it up on the stream this time, because I'm good at the streaming. You were playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Okay, I do hope you had fun with that. I've actually played a couple of things with Narcissistic. I think we played Core Keeper together. So do give her a follow as well. We found her. No, you didn't. I'm definitely not the coolest streamer. Disney Dreamlight Valley, the game decided it was over when it froze multiple times. Yeah, that's often a sign that it's a good time to end the stream. I've been lucky with crashes. I don't think I've ever had OBS crash. I've definitely had my internet connection drop out a lot of times. And on one notable occasion, a complete power cut. But yeah, I usually do alright with game crashes. Anyway, we have been looking at this plant today, a plant called Mind Your Own Business. And no, I'm not being rude. That is actually its name. We just finished reading about it in our book, where we learned it was used in gardens for ground cover, but it's likes to escape into the wild and has been quite prolific. The last thing we're going to do for our botany segment is go to the BSBI website and look up where you can find this plant within Britain and Ireland. I don't have data for the rest of the world, although usually when it's a garden plant, the answer is anywhere in the world where it's, the right climate for it to grow, it will be found. So here is the map. And yeah, the book did mention it spreading. Well, the book said as far as Inverness. It looks to me like it's gone a little way beyond Inverness. But yes, it was introduced to this country for garden use and first escaped in Cornwall. So I suspect it prefers a warmer climate. If you find plants more towards the south, that tends to mean they prefer a warmer climate. And actually, if I increase the resolution of this map, there's now a dot for every 1 kilometer square that has the plant instead of every 10 kilometers square. You can see just how much more common it is in the southern tip of Cornwall. It's literally everywhere. Is to be found in North Somerset, where I live. I know that because I've seen it. Where was I when I saw it? Might have been there. Don't remember. But as with all garden plants, the map sometimes just mirrors a population density map. So you'll see anywhere there's a major city, you get the plant because that's where the gardens are. Sheffield, they seem to be, yeah, Leeds and Sheffield, they seem to be statistically less fond of this plant than in other cities. But it's not just a northern thing because they've got it in Newcastle. So I don't know. And Glasgow and Edinburgh. Also seems to do pretty well on the southern coast of Ireland as well. So yeah, that was Mind Your Own Business. Thank you, LTBago, for the redeem. I might just check the Wikipedia page to see if there's any explanation about some of those slightly weirder names. So the Wikipedia article on Mind Your Own Business is actually about the English saying, not the plant. So I have to go here. And then I have to go there. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so it's a flowering plant in the nettle family. It has a number of common names, as we just read out, including Mother of Thousands, Angel's Tears, Bread and Cheese, Friendship Plant, and Mind Your Own Business. Grows close to the ground in mats. Minute flowers. You can see just how much of a close-up this photo on the left is compared to these tiny leaves on the right. The huge leaves here, and the flowers are still small. Native to Italy and Corsica. Okay, so it really wants a Mediterranean climate, which we don't have in the UK, but the southern tip of Cornwall is the closest thing we have to that, so that explains why it likes it there. Been introduced to many other places worldwide, and it's cultivated as a garden plant. Nothing in the Wikipedia article about where it got all its names from. So yeah, we'll have to continue to wonder on that. I suppose Mother of Thousands might just be a reference to the fact it has many, 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 many small flowers. But as far as bread and cheese is concerned, it doesn't look much like bread or cheese to me. So that one might remain a mystery. Narcissistic says, I'm going to go stretch my back, but I'll be lurking. Emma Dopamine is a Friday must. Well, I hope I can give you some Emma Dopamine. I'm not sure I have much dopamine to spare, but I'll do my best. Enjoy your lurk, and thank you once again for the raid. We're going to switch back to our game now. I will quickly put the books away. Dope Emma-ine, says Creep Twin. Well, maybe. Maybe these streams fill you with joy, and I hope they do. Debargo asks, is a block of cheese a loaf of milk? Interesting question. So the dictionary definition of loaf as a noun, as a verb, it means to spend one's time in an aimless, idle way, much as we are doing right now. The primary definition is a quantity of bread that is shaped and baked in one place and usually sliced before being eaten. However, an secondary definition is any item of food formed into an oblong shape and sliced into portions. That does make sense because, for example, you can have malt loaf, which is not really bread. It's more closer to cake at that point, I think. I would say that you could definitely consider cheese to be a loaf because it comes in oblong shaped blocks sometimes. I mean, cheese comes in many shapes, but a popular shape for it to come in is oblong shaped blocks. And it does get sliced into portions. You can even buy it ready sliced sometimes. However, the question was not, is cheese a loaf? The question was, is cheese a loaf of milk? That's another matter entirely because cheese and milk are not the same thing. And if you don't believe me, try putting cheese on your cornflakes and milk on your pizza and report back to me on how that goes. As Creep Twins says, you could definitely call it a loaf of cheese if you wanted to. But I'm going to go so far as to say that cheese is not milk, and therefore it's not a loaf of milk. Sarah Stars points out curds and whey, and Sarah's being awkward by asking me to consider the intermediate forms that are somewhere between cheese and milk. At what point does full fat milk turn into cottage cheese? Izzy mentions that mozzarella could easily be described as a loaf of milk solids or a loaf of curd. Yes, well, let's see, shall we? I'm going to Google loaf of cheese to see if anybody uses it in that context. Like, not just debating about whether it's grammatically correct. But does anyone actually use the term? And it looks like they kind of do. Yeah. So people use the term cheese loaf, but it normally refers to bread, a loaf of bread that's got cheese in it. However, there is a type of cheese called the Wiltshire loaf. Wiltshire loaf of cheese, which traditionally is a large oblong of cheese, but you can also buy it in smaller portions nowadays. I should probably, actually be using the visual element of my streaming capability here to show that, look, here is a Wiltshire loaf. So that's going to be yes for cheese loaf being a term that's in use. Loaf of curd, on the other hand. A loaf of curd, the solid coagulated part of the milk typically formed during the process of cheese making. This solid is okay. Okay, so when they actually make the cheese, what they do is they basically drain the liquid away to leave a loaf of curd. and then they cut that into smaller pieces, which are then known as cheese curds. So at that point, you could also say, yes, that curd is a loaf, but it's not milk at that point. You've taken the solids out of the milk. So I'm still going to say that no, it's not a loaf of milk. So that is my final answer to your question, LT Bago. No. No, it isn't. But it could be a loaf of cheese. Something you'll have noticed in the game. I mentioned previously there were 100 main levels, and then there were some bonus levels on the left, which you unlock as you solve the main levels. The first 3 bonus levels have been unlocked. I don't think I'm going to play the bonus levels on stream because I've never managed to beat them all, even off stream. And I've played this game a lot. How many hours do I have in this game? 119 hours, only about 6 of which were on stream. So, yeah, and I didn't manage to beat all the levels. So make of that what you will. I feel better for knowing, says Sarah with Stars. Well, that's the important thing. And, you know, people are free to disagree with me and say that cheese is a milk loaf. But the redeem isn't called Ask Chat, it's called Ask Emma. So Emma is going to answer for herself. Thank you, T-Bagger. Right, hopefully level 43 is easier than level 42. Oh, interesting. So we have no clues on the grid at all to start us off with, but we do have clues around the edges. And one of those clues is a 0. So we can immediately clear some cells. These ones can be tricky to reason about, but we'll see how we get on. LT Bago says, okay, so the only thing I can find about Mind Your Own Business is that it's thought to be related to how fast it spreads. Yes, that would make sense. That would definitely make sense. To be honest, it was some of the other names that I was less certain about. My imagining of how the name came about, which I think is almost certainly false, is somebody buying it for their garden, and then their neighbour asks, "What's that plant you've got there?" And they respond, "Mind your own business." And then the neighbour just spreads around the fact that that's the plant's name. But that theory is probably incorrect. It's probably yes. I wish this plant would mind its own business and stay out of my garden, which it keeps crawling under the fence or whatever it's doing. Tibago says, I also found that this plant should not be stroked, as appealing as this is, as for some people's skin it is too acidic and can cause damage. I have never observed this. However, in the past, it was certainly known to be killed by leaking fumes from gas stoves, which back then ran on coal gas, which would probably have done for the gardener too. Interesting. Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Tibago. Okay, Emma is going to try and do some logic here. Let's consider we have a row here with 2 mines in and a row here with 3 rather. So that's 5 total. But we've also got these 2s. And if you think about it, if you're trying to make 5 in total, let's say you've got 2 here, and that would mean there must be 2 here, and that would mean there must be 2 here. Well, that makes 6, and 6 is not 5. So okay, let's try again. Let's say that there's got to be 2 here. Well, now there's 2 here and 2 here, and that makes 4. 4 is also not 6, so what that tells me is it can't be 2 here and it can't be 2 here. So it must be 1 here and 1 here, which follows that there's also 1 here and then 1 here and then 1 here. So the 5 are neatly arranged in one in each column. And what that tells me is that this first column, which has got a 1 in it, is already full. So we can reveal these ones. Then we can say, well, there's 1 there, which means there's 1 there, which means there's 1 there, and conclude that this one is a mine. And since we also know that there's 1 here and 1 here, there can't be 2 here. That's not possible, and then blanks here, because then these would have to be blank, and then there'd have to be 2 here. And we've just established that that can't happen. So as well as there being 1 here and 1 here, we also know that there's 1 here and 1 here. So it's either these 2 diagonal corners or these 2 diagonal corners. Because there's only 1 here, there must be 2 here underneath the 3 to make up the 3. So to make up the 4, there must be 1 here. So we can fill that one in. Coming back to this 4, we now know there's exactly 1 here, so there must be 3 here. We can fill all of those in. And if we combine that with other things, like we know there's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, that makes 3. 1 there is 1. 1 here, 1 here, that makes 2. So there's 1 more in that column. This column we don't know about yet. This column, 1 here, 1 here, there's 1 more. And this column, 1 here, 1 here, there's 2 more. Because we're going to make 4. Well, if there's 2 more in this column, there's got to be these 2. So the top right here is telling us there are 10 left. And we've drawn in where 6 of them are. Where are the others? Well, we're going to put 4 more in. This column needs 1 more. This column needs 1 more. This column needs 2 more. So we put the other 2 more in there, and then we need to put... Basically, it's a bit like this too, like it's either that one and that one, or that one and that one. It's the same thing here. It's either this one and this one, or it's this one and this one. And so that means that there's only 1 here, meaning that that's got to be 1. And now we should finally be able to solve everything. Yes. LTBago copy-pasted the message without reading the brackets, but it is true that you've never observed it. Okay, yes, that's fine. Medium-sized red is what this this level is known as. Well, it is medium-sized and it does have red in it. See how we do. This is a square one with a grid, so it should be relatively straightforward. It hasn't got any of the hallmarks of a difficult level, which usually mean things like numbers in the rows or columns. But I'm glad the creator of this game did include some levels of this sort, just to break up the difficult levels. That one, and one of those. That. One. Hello, Auburn Dusk. Welcome in. Auburn asks, are the levels randomized, or if they're the same every time, losing just means starting over the same layout? Yes, these are the same every time. They are handmade. If they were randomized, I think it would probably be difficult to make them always be solvable in a nice logical steps. Like classic Minesweeper is randomized, but it's very unsatisfying because then sometimes you get all the way to the end and you've got to a 50-50 guess at the end. These are guaranteed to always be logically solvable. And that does mean that, yes, you could just guess, find out if you're right or wrong, and if you're wrong, you could just reset and guess the other way. Like, that is a thing you could do. But you'd only be cheating yourself. Like, it's only a single player game. I know that I haven't done that. I've tried to solve them legitimately. And even though I've played this entire game before, or at least all the main levels before, I don't remember any of the solutions. So I can easily still replay it. So I think the choice to have pre-made levels was a good one. Okay, I've just noticed I've been ignoring the numbers again. There is 0 yellows. You can clear those. Means that one is clear, which means those are clear. Okay, I was just talking about how the I was talking about how these are a little bit easier, and then I get stuck. Hopefully I don't get stuck for too long. There we go. That one. Yes. Okay, we did it. I'm not guessing. I am doing it logically, I promise. It might look like I'm guessing. I promise I'm not. Okay, three red ones left. Well, it's one of those, it's one of those, and it's one of those. So it's not that one. And it's also not any of these. Now what? Is it too early to start counting the total? It's usually something you do at the end. There's eight left in total. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't quite count the 8th one, so I don't know that there's 8. Oh, I can go here though. That's what you do. Okay. I was overthinking it. We can just do that. Okay, now it's time to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count that. So this one in the corner is clear. Hooray! Hexagons! We're back to hexagons. Everything is right with the world. Well, everything is not right with the world, but at least we're doing hexagons. In a minute, we'll get to one of the really hard levels, and I'll suddenly stop liking hexagons. We're not quite there yet, though. This is a more difficult level because of it's got columns to count again, which always makes things harder. It makes things harder because you're not solving the level based on just the stuff that's close by. Like, without these column headers, the solution to, like, this bit is only going to involve looking in this area. But now the solution to that might involve looking all the way over the other side of the board. And so it's a lot easier to miss things, a lot harder to keep track of things. Okay. We go from here. Those 3. If these 2 were both mines, then that would complete this. We don't know for sure that they are, though. Like, that one could be a gap, and then these 3 could still be. Do that. almost have 3 in this column, but not quite. You're going to see me make my head slightly wonky now as I try and look at these diagonal columns straight on. Any of these big numbers where we can say that everything is a mine? Not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so there's 2 cells that aren't in there. That one's almost completed. Not quite. Not. This one is close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's only one space in that whole row. We just don't know which one it is yet. We don't have any numbers in the corner to help us for once. There's no good looking there. This seems like the closest. Can we prove that one of these is definitely... Actually, yeah, I think we can do something here. If this was a mine, then these 2 would be clear, which would make this one, which would overload this 3, because now there's 4 in this column. So there can't actually be one here. And now I think we can do this 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it can only be one of these 2, and that makes 7. So all of these we can fill in. And then, oh yeah, this 5, 1, 2, 3, and then there can only be one of these 2. So that's the 5th one. That's not one. Now we're starting to make progress. This 3 is done. Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little bit of staring at things before it clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that. And okay, we don't know about that yet because everything is cut off by a solid wall of hexagons that we can't see inside. So wait. We can see inside by looking at the numbers on the left now. We see that that has to be 1, that has to be 1. We don't know about these ones yet. Now we know that that is 4, so that's empty. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's not done yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 out of these 3. That's not going to be good enough to help us. That's only got 3 out of 6. That's only got 3 out of 7. Okay, none of those are any good either. Right, how do we get any further? What about this 9? 9 is a big number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's only 1, right, and there can only be 1 here. So all the rest of these are mines. You heard it here, folks. Heard it here, folks. First, you heard it here first, folks. 9 is a big number, much bigger than 7. Right, now that we've filled in this one, we know there's got to be at least 1 here. These 2, and then 1 more to make the 3, and then that's done. We do that. Harry is shocked at the revelation that 9 is quite a big number. I mean, I suppose compared to the infinity of integers, 9 is actually quite small. But in the context of Minesweeper, 9 is big. It's not a number you see much on a normal Minesweeper board, unless something's gone horribly wrong. Right, do anything now. to look for something. Yeah, what I want to do is look for things where we've got something like this 3 with 2 tiles next to it, because we know there's only one mine in here, and that constrains things a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it doesn't constrain things enough, but we need to look for situations like that. There aren't many. Right here, because we know there's at least one mine here to complete this 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there can only be one here. There can't be 2 here, because then these 2 would be clear and this 3 would be broken. So there's one there, and all the others have to be filled in, and that solves this middle bit. And now we know that there's one there. That must be one. Okay. Does that help us at all? Because that's one, therefore that's one. 1, 2, 3. No, okay. There's have to be one more gap, and we're not quite done with that yet. About this 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these could both be mines though. That's still possible. Yeah, this is what I'm marking out now is all hypothetical, but it is possible. Oh, that's actually forced without any hypotheticals, so that's easy. Then that 8 is completed. That's what we were looking for. That solves everything more or less. On here, 4 here, so that's all of them. We seem to have skipped over this 7 and 8. We can probably use this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So either that one or that one, but not both. What about this 8 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's going to be a lot of counting in this stream, I'm afraid, and it is very important counting, because we lose if we miscount. So, never has counting been so high stakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one of these, and these will tell us which one it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's that one. Phew. We have bested the hexagons. Let's see if we can at least get to level 50 by the end of today's stream. We'll only have done 20 levels, which is not great given that we did 30 last week and we were chatting an awful lot more last week. Chat has been a bit quieter today, which is fine. I needed a break from talking quite so much, I think. Okay, silly Emma. At least it's near the start and I can start again. As I say, I refuse to have a death counter in this game. Right, what was I trying? Yeah, this is what I was trying to do. Somehow managed to not do it. Yeah, that emote's going to be happening a lot. I can ask more questions if you like. I mean, feel free to ask more questions, Debago. They are always welcome. If they are ever not welcome, I'll turn off the redeem. Oh, I never did your drink water either, Debago. Yeah, Let me give you a full screen water drinkage to make up for it. There. Where were we? Here's where we were. Get stuck. I'm gonna have to use the numbers. Can't put it off any longer. I'm gonna have to use the coloured numbers. Although the green number is not helpful, because we haven't really uncovered any of the greens yet. We haven't uncovered any purples, really. Tibago had to take a phone call right when the redeems happened. I'm sorry about that. No, I didn't do my drink, but I have done it now. There's one here. There's two here. So that's 3. And then there's 5 blues remaining, so there's 2 more. So the only way this could be empty is if there's 2 here. Can there actually be 2 there, or does that just break everything immediately? Well, there's definitely, there can only be 1 here, so there'd have to be 1 here. So that would complete this, so that would be that, of course. That to be there, which means that. That would be empty. Okay, no, it doesn't actually break anything. But it does reduce us to just 4 on the... Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, actually, yeah, in order to have 5 blue ones without this one, you'd have to have 1 here and then 2 here. And it can't be these 2. So, it would have to be 1 here, and then both these and both these, and that's obviously not possible because the 4 is now broken. In other words, this has to be a mine. It doesn't help, but it has to be one, so there. What else can we do? Might have to do some more deducing. Let's say let's just pick one at random. Say that's 1. What is the consequence of that? Not that one. That one. Not that one. One of those 2. One of those 2. One of those 2. So yeah, one of them. One of them. One of them. Them. One of them. And also one of them. Okay, and if we invert the situation and say that this is 1 and this is not 1, then that's 1. That's not 1. That is 1. If that's 1, and that's still 1, then I think we can prove that this isn't 1. I think we can prove that this isn't 1 from the blue number. If we have 1 here, then none of these are mines. And now we only have space to put in 3 into the blue. So this can't be 1. And that means that there's definitely 1 there and 1 there. And we already know that there's 1 there, which means there's exactly 1 there as well. And there's exactly 1 there. So actually, now that we've revealed that, we know that there's 1 here. And therefore there's not 1 there. Yeah, okay. That was a little tricky to work through. Okay. And one left, so that one is a 5, but we don't know which 3 out of those 4. There's only 2 green ones left. So these are almost all empty, but we just don't know for sure that they're all empty yet. Oh, that 2 is done, so that one's empty. And now that, yeah, there's only 2 more greens. One of them is definitely here, one of them's here. So we can reveal all the other green ones. That will help a lot. Well, you said you were going to ask more questions, Teabago, or are you thinking of good ones? Can we use the purples? Oh, there we go. Teabago asks, is Disney World just a people trap managed by a mouse? I'm not sure that Disney World is actually managed by a mouse. I think the mouse is just their mascot. Yes, as Izzy says, Disney is managed by an army of lawyers. Disney Corporation is pretty much single-handedly responsible for the repeated extension of copyright law expiry to keep Mickey Mouse from entering the public domain. As a result of which, copyright has gone from originally, I think it was the life of the author plus like 30 years, and it's now up to something stupid like 90 years, because they just keep lobbying for it to be extended. So yeah, no, Disney is a people trap managed by lawyers, to answer your question. Or more accurately, it's a money trap managed by lawyers. Everything comes down to money in the end. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but Mickey Mouse isn't actually real. I probably can't show him on screen on account of, copyright. But there's a guy called Bob Iger, who is CEO of Disney, so it would probably be libelous to call him a mouse, therefore I won't. Therefore I'll say no is the answer to your question, Teabago. It's not managed by a mouse. It's managed by an American media executive born 10th of February 1951. Was formerly CEO from 2005 until 2021. However, the board of directors requested him back in 2022 on account of his predecessor not doing very well as CEO. So yeah. It's funny how you literally can't do anything without getting into politics. Like, literally, if I say one more sentence on Disney, I'm going to have to mention their support of the anti-LGBT legislation in Florida. So it's a good job I'm not, because I promised this wouldn't be a political stream. But yeah, everybody please boycott Disney. They're a bunch of scumbags, and no, you can't sue me for saying that. LT Bago asks, if cheese could talk, what would it say when getting its picture taken? Cheese, probably. Or maybe it would say human. So I think the point of saying the word cheese is to show your teeth. So it wouldn't just be a case of could cheese talk? Cheese would actually have to have a mouth with teeth in it anatomically similar to those of a human in order for it to make sense for it to say cheese when getting its photo taken. If it could just verbalize via some other method, then there would be no particular reason for it to do that. I don't want cheese with teeth. That's quite terrifying. So let's say that talking cheese doesn't have teeth. Therefore, it would say something else. Maybe it would say avocado. That's my final answer, is avocado. Teabagger. Hope that's okay. Right, what I was just drawing on the screen then was proving that the 3 purple ones remaining are all accounted for. And thus we can reveal all of the remaining purple cells. Which is very helpful. This is interesting. We've got a 3, but we've got only one of these and only one of these. So if it was this one, then these 2 would be empty and it would have to be that one. And that would only make 2. So we actually know that it's these 3. Those. Oh, I forgot to reveal that one. Very important. Okay, 1 there means we can finally resolve that 5. Oh, Emma, you idiot. That was obviously a mine. Okay, we're so near the end, I might just continue with this. Okay, 3 more, 1 there, 1 there. So that's empty. Yeah, this was not a hard level because it was a squares level. I'll see if I can quickly do it again and not fail for the sake of not failing. But yeah, I won't push too hard on not failing anything if it starts taking too long. So far, I've only done it on the easy levels and made silly mistakes. Right, then we went there, and then we know it's not that one. We know it is that one. Yeah, I can remember the hard decisions from before, which helps. By the way, I hope I'm answering these questions correctly. LT Bago. Do let me know if I get the answers right and my final score at the end. Says Emma, being competitive about everything, apparently. But, you know, you have to expect these things from the Emma. Right, okay, we're back to the point where we uncover all the green ones. Shortly followed by uncovering all the purple ones. Yeah, okay, see, it didn't take me long to get back to where I was after knowing how to do it. Right, I just have to not screw up this time on the 5. Right, so this is a mine because that's 5 cells, not 4. Stupid Emma. Okay, it's those 3. That one. Those 2. And then yeah, and then we click all the rest of the grey ones. There we go. Okay, we did it properly. Time for another level. 4 more to go. I've got 45 minutes to do 4 more levels. I think we can manage that. I think we can manage that. And if we don't, then I'm going to do the stream longer until we do manage it, because I'm stubborn like that. Okay, 1 blue one left. Not that one. When in doubt, use the colours. That's what they're there for. Having said that, we didn't actually need to use the brown at all, which is interesting. Don't know why they gave it us if we don't need it. Trying to confuse us. Okay, 4 here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Not any of those. One here, one. Yeah, one. If the 1 was here and then there was 1 here, it would have to be those 3. That would complete this 6 and would break that 5 because there wouldn't be any left for the 5. So it can't be either of those. I know it can't because maths says so. And maths wouldn't lie. That's not possible. Do you know where you are with maths? People are weird and annoying and mislead you and call you horrible things. Maths doesn't. It might be completely impossible to understand, but at least it's not ill-intentioned. Wow, a 7. Okay. So that means there can only be 1 there, 1 there. So we do that, and then we do that. Easy. Easy one. I will let you know just as soon as I figure out the correct answers, says T-Bagger. Oh no, the game heard me say easy one, and now it's giving me this. Enclaves, or Enclaves, is the name of the level. This whole bottom row is actually empty, which is nice. Otherwise, I would have no clue where to start. And, oh, not adjacent. Before I go and immediately lose, diagonals are not adjacent. So, for example, here, I can't clear this one just because there's a 1 next to it. Clear that one first. Who is done? This is a 4. There are 2 more left. Hello, Matcha Catcher. Welcome in. Thank you for requesting your flower today. And Harry, thank you for providing. Common meadow rue as your flower of the day. I do hope you're well, best Matcha. Right. I can use the coloured numbers. There are 3 orange ones, and there are 3 orange ones around this 3. So anything that's not around this 3 isn't a mine. We can do that. What else can we do? There's only 1 blue one. So chances are that I don't choose the bad one, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna follow the logic. Only 2 in that column. Either that one or that one. The 1. 2 out of these 3. 3 out of these 6. 2 out of those 3. 2 out of 1 out of those 2. Out of those 2. Okay, for the 2s, there's either one here, and then these are empty, or there's one here, and then these are empty. I'm just wondering if the second one can be in here. I think it still can be. Like if there was one in here and these were all empty, and there was one there, we'd still be able to get to 5 pinks. We could, like, it could be all of them or something. Matcha says bot still broken. Sad. Yes, Twitch changed the API that you need to use to respond to channel points. So you can still ask the bot to define things and other commands that you type in. It's just that things that you do with channel points don't work. Discord message. Well, that sucks, says Matcha. I mean, I'll get it fixed eventually. You can still react to channel points. It's just that you need to change the code that you use to do it. And in the meantime, Harry is diligently typing !flower every time. Quote 20 from Harry: deforestation and tentacles are mostly what this channel is about. I'm not sure about them mostly, but they do certainly feature in the channel from time to time. Yes, it's not a problem. It's only a problem if, like me, you didn't write your own Twitch bot from scratch. You just used a library to do it, and that library hasn't been updated in 2 years, and therefore probably isn't going to be updated to work with the new way of doing channel points. So I will have to write my own. Or switch to a different library. And as I say, it's just too much like work to worry about that sort of thing while I'm not feeling very well. So I'm not. Let's draw a flower. What's the right colour for Forget-Me-Not? About that colour. There we are. I don't need an artist to do my emotes. I could do them myself. Hang on, let me have a closer look at this. Okay. There's a slightly more accurate Forget-Me-Not. Yeah, I'm going to stick to commissioning my emotes, I think. Izzy says, I've changed mine over, but that code base is a disaster site, and nobody except me is ever going to see it. Yeah, I mean, my code is actually in GitHub, but I don't recommend anyone to look at it as an example of how coding should be done. Yeah, it's the code I write professionally is a little bit better than code that I don't want to spend time writing code. I want to spend time streaming and botanizing and enjoying myself. So I see it as a necessity rather than something I want to do. I don't put that much effort into it. I am stuck on this level. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Can I prove something about this? Hang on, I've made my line is too thick now. If these are both mines and that isn't and that is, it doesn't break anything. Yeah, and likewise if that isn't, that is. Then that is forced and that is forced. But like these could be, yeah, any of these could be swapped. Yeah, maybe I'm just missing something obvious, but I don't see how to progress on this one, which is unexpected. Izzy says, mine's mainly a disaster site since I've gone through 3 different UI frameworks and not properly refactored everything to be actually neat. I mean, I've gone through 0 different UI frameworks. This is the UI for Emma's bot. And the reason it's spamming the operation was cancelled is that's the error message that's coming back from Twitch every time I try to see what channel points have been redeemed. So normally there wouldn't be anything there at all. So yeah, I'm not exactly up to date on UI frameworks either. Okay, maybe I actually will skip this one for now. Sorry to be anticlimactic, but yeah, let's do another one of these ones. This one is called Snowflake. So it's a little bit different to the last one we did with this geometry because now they filled in the hexagons as well as the triangles. Interesting. I think we might actually need to start with the green number, believe it or not, because there's all these 3s around the edge. And here, like, imagine that these 2 are both mines. Then there'd have to be 1 here. So each of these 3s is guaranteed to have at least 1 mine in the green area. And that already accounts for 5 of the 6 green ones. So the 6th green one, it could be that one of these 3s has 2 green ones in it. Or it could be that the 6th one is here. But I think that symmetry is going to be an important part of solving it. I can actually see here, this 2 is already completed. 4 is almost completed. I suspect there's going to be something similar with the pink ones as well. This 2 is completed. Ah, yeah, here we go. So this is the one. This is the one. I said there might be one with 2 green triangles. That one has 2 green triangles. So now there's 4 green triangles left. One's there, one's there, one's there, one's there. So this green triangle is clear. Yeah, that's how you get started on this level. And because of that, we know that all these triangles are filled in, but not those ones. So that only leaves 1 pink. And it has to be one of these 2 because that one and then 1 more. So these pinks are all empty. That 5 is everything around it, so not that one. So that one, not that one. That's complete. That has to be. It's so weird having half the cells be hexagons. Well, not half, but some of the cells be hexagons and some be triangles. Very different to normal Minesweeper. Okay, so 1 more purple there, 1 more purple there. Oh, that green is complete now. So that one's not. That one is That one's not. That is complete. Right, now we are doing counting on the purples. So there's a purple there, there's a purple there, and there's a purple there, which means that both of the hexagons are clear. And this one restricts things a lot because we know there's one there. So all of these are clear. And we're done, I think. I've missed some things. Oh, there. Okay, that one was a little bit easier than 48, clearly. Well, let's have a look at 50. It's squares again. Squares are all right, except, well, squares with diagonal adjacencies are all right. I don't know what is so, like, you'd think having the diagonals not be adjacent would make it easier because you've got fewer possibilities to consider, but it evidently doesn't. Right, green here and green here, so all the remaining greens are empty. Yeah. Oh, okay. Gave me a shock. Why did I click there? I was like, there's one here, so that's a mine, and then I clicked. Stupid Emma. It's always when you're not focusing. Okay, this rate we will need a death counter. Although maybe don't rely on the bot to do it. Okay. It wouldn't be a death, it would be an Emma makes stupid mistake counter. Like, none of these have been because I gave up and started guessing. I quit the level rather than give up and start guessing. I just mentally thought one thing and then my hand did something else. Pressed the other mouse button. That is what I meant to do. Okay. We use the fact that there are 4 purples yet. I've just realised this central area is completely detached from everything else. So the only clues we can use for the centre are the clues around the sides, which is interesting because it's like a sort of mini. There was a level called Combination Lock, I think, where it was just a grid of squares with no clues in the squares and then things around the sides. It's kind of like a mini one of those. But we have to solve the outside first before we even get to that point. Okay. Maybe? Yeah, maybe we do now need to solve the middle before we solve the top, because I don't see how to progress on the top. These numbers here are a bit confusing because there's some tiles already. If you think about just the middle and ignore these numbers, like there's already 2 tiles in here. If we think about just the middle part of the puzzle, this is effectively a 2, referring to this bit here. This is a 1, this is a 1, and this is a 3. And then if we think about the top clues, this is at least 2. This is at sorry, this is at most 2, because there could be something there. This is at most 3. This is at most 3, and this is at most 3. But these ones are exact because we've solved all of the columns. So we do know that there's at least 1 purple in here and 1 purple in here, which means there's only 2 purples up the top here. I do wonder if that's significant. I wonder if we can rule out there being any cells here. Like, if we imagine that this row is completely empty, would that break anything? It would force us to put 3 here and 2 here. And that would already occupy 2 of the 4 purple. Then we would have to put 1 in here and 1 in here. And they couldn't both be in here, so that would occupy at least another one of the purple. Yeah, I don't think that actually prevents. I think it prevents. Maybe it prevents both of these being up here. It doesn't prevent one though. Like you could have 1 here, and that would still cover all of these. Maybe we need to look at this 2 or this 3. Yeah, this 3 means there's at least 1 there. Actually, yeah, because there's at least 1 there and there's 1 here. That means there's at most 2 in this column. Okay, if we think about this again, assume this column is blank, then this is forced. But actually, because there's 1 here, this is now forced to be blank. So that one is forced as well. That's 3 of the purples. And then there'd be 1 there, which would either complete the 4 or the 3. So that would be the 4th purple. So yeah, if this was blank, all the purples would be in the middle, which would imply all of these would be blank. Which would complete that 2, which would imply that one was there. Yeah, we still haven't contradicted ourselves on anything though. So I was hoping we would have. Maybe we can infer something else. This one. These are mine. That would imply that. It would also mean all of these were empty. Yeah, so then there's going to be 1, 2. So what if we come at it from the opposite angle and say there have to be 2 in here? Does that break anything? I don't think that does though. I think that works quite easily as well. Okay, this is harder than I thought it would be. What else forces the most stuff? This being empty. Whoops, this being empty forces quite a lot. Means these have to be filled in. It means these have to be filled in, and it means that has to be empty. Does this always have to be empty? Yeah, yeah, this is what I was missing. I think it's the weird shape of it that confused me. This can't have a mining because then these empty and then this 3 is broken. So this is empty. Okay, yeah, now we get more information about this top bit, which is what I thought we were missing. 1 there, meaning not those. 1 there. Yeah, okay. I was trying to solve it without having solved this bit first, which I should have done. So that one is, and so is that one. You'll notice something they can do in this game, which can be annoying. You see there's a question mark here. That's because these puzzles were designed, they weren't just randomly generated. If you see a question mark, that's quite often the puzzle designer going, I know that if you had that information, it would be too easy. So I'm going to take that information away from you to make it harder. And they're doing that intentionally. Okay. But I don't think it was a complete waste of time what we did before, because I think it does actually help. Because now we know that there is at least one mine in here. And I think what we need to do is rule out there being two, which is what we were trying to do before, because it could still look like this. So let me see if I can rule out there being two, and then we do actually solve it. So this would be forced, and then this would be forced, and then that would be forced, and that would be forced, and yeah, okay, yeah. So having two mines up here breaks it, because messy line I did there. This column now has 5, and it can only have 4. So there can't be 2 up here, but there must be 1. So we do that. Now we can actually draw this in properly like I was trying to do before. That's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 2. This is a 2, and this is a 2. And the total of these, by the way, is 7. 2, 3, 4, 7. And there are 9 left, and one of them is here. So we can't say that these cells are safe, because there's another mine hiding in there as well. But what we have to do basically do now is solve this. And I think the trick is with the purple squares. Like, we know that one of these bottom 2 purple squares has to be a mine. And we know that one of these 2 purple squares has to be a mine. And there's only 3 total. So, like, we could ask ourselves, like, let's assume that one of these is selected, which means that both of these are selected, which means we pick one of those. 2, 3, 4, yeah. We pick one of those. If we picked this one, we'd have to not pick either of those. So you have to sort of work through it logically like that. Let me see if I can do that. I think let's just start by picking this one and see if anything breaks. So if we pick that one, we can't have any of these, which means we have to have those ones. Which means we can only have one more purple, because we've only got 3 purples to choose, and it's definitely you need to pick one of these. So we can't pick either of these, which means we have to pick that one. And then I mean, it doesn't matter which way round we pick either of these 2. We either pick this one and this one, or this one and this one. Either way, we wouldn't be able to have any purples up here, so this would be clear. I think we can prove that these purples are not used, because I don't think there's a way of filling in this central grid without using. Oops. I don't think there's a way of filling in the central grid without using 3 purples. And I'll just see if I can prove there isn't. So there definitely isn't if you use this purple. But you're not forced to use that purple. We've got to use 1 purple up here. But we could have this be blank, and then you'd have to use these 2 purples. And if we chose this purple, then that would be 3 purples as before. So we'd have to use that one blank, which implies using all those, and then that's still 3 purples. Yeah, okay. So no matter what we choose, we use 3 purples in the middle. So that's not 1, and that's not 1. We do that. Right, now we've just got to actually solve the middle. Apparently it has a unique solution. which is interesting. Because I'm sure I just tried 2 ways that both worked. I must have done something wrong. Well, I definitely came up with a working solution with a mine there. So can I prove it's impossible without a mine there? So we got that one and that one. And then to pick one of these. Right now, yes. The problem now is, let's say we picked these 3. These would both be done. And then actually, no, that would work. Then we put one here, or one here, one here. This seems to leave me with a multiple choice at the end. I suppose it wouldn't actually be a multiple choice because we would have revealed some of the cells by then. These cells here in themselves contain more information. So we just have to figure out a cell that it can't possibly be or that it has to be. And then we can reveal other cells and get more information. Is there a cell that it can't possibly be that we can reveal? What if we choose this one? And then it's none of these, and then this is forced, and also this is forced, and then this is forced, and this is. And then that's, yeah, okay, yeah, that works. It can't possibly be this one. Phew, okay. Nervous moment always. I do wish there was a better eraser tool than this. You have to sort of draw over everything again, or erase all, which I don't want to do. So now we have the additional information that there's only one mine touching any of these. And we know that there's one mine in these. So that actually tells us that it's here. And then here. Now, there's one in there. There's one in there. There's 2 in this first row still, so we're going to do both of them. And then now we've just got one in this row, one in this row, one in this row left to fill in. And we can only use one purple now. I can get rid of these numbers because they're wrong. We can only use one purple, and it's there, so we can reveal both these purples. We can do that. That's going to complete that 4. That 3. There. Okay, well that was satisfying. If a little long. Right, well this is less satisfying. We've solved everything except 48. And I still don't know what I'm missing in this level. I'm just going to reset in case I realise while revealing stuff that I missed something. So we reveal this first whole row. All of those. That one. That one. That one. That one. That one. No, sorry, not that one. That one and that one. That one. One. That one. Those. That one. That one. 1, 2. Yeah, and then with the 3, we realise we can reveal those ones, which we did. Pretty sure that's where we got to, and I don't see anything else. Emma will do a bit of thinking, but Emma might have to give up. Oh, is it here? Oh, hang on. Ah, here we are. Emma is a complete and utter idiot and thought this one was adjacent to this too, and it isn't because this is non-diagonally adjacent mode. Okay, so we have to pick 2 out of these 3, so we have to pick these ones. Which completes this 2. Silly Emma. Silly Emma. There we go. Progress. Right, then there's 3 pinks remaining, and there's 3 remaining around this 4, so it's not that one. So it's one of them, so it's those 2, one of those, so it's not that one. 2, so it's not that one, so it's that one. There. Not there. There. Not there. Okay, does this 2 help us with solving this nonsense? Maybe. Oh, this 1 blue one up here finally helps us with something. Because it must be one of these, so it's not any of these. But that's useful. So it's definitely one of those 2, so it's not that one, it's that one. Okay, in the green there are 3 remaining. 2 of those and 1 more, so 1 out of those. Okay, that's not helpful at the moment. We start using any of the row or column headings. What is 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's not helpful yet. These numbers are not helpful until we've cleared most of the column or row in this instance. Okay. Sorry, Discord message again. Oh, come on. There must be something we can do from here. We got so far. Might actually be able to use one of the headings. I'm going to look at this 4. With this 3, if we say that these 2 are mines, that still leaves at least 1 in this column. If we say that these 2 are mines, that still leaves 1 in there. And with this 4, if we say that that's a mine, that still leaves 1 here. And we've got 1. So that actually accounts for all 4, which means that everything I've said just now must actually be true. And the rest of these are not mines. So that's progress. Then, how does that help us? Wonders Emma allowed? Okay, there's definitely one of these 2. And one of these 2 to complete the 3. So this now can't be 1. This now has to be 1. So that's not 1. So that's not 1. So that's not 1. One of those means that's 1. How do I distinguish between these? Oh, that's what the column headings are for. Okay, these column headings are for distinguishing this, which would otherwise be ambiguous. There, 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 there. And 4 now as well. 3 is done, 1 is done, 1 is done, 2, 3 is done, 2. This 6 column, we need to finish the 6. This one is one of those two, so it's not that one. Right, this thing. So this column has 2 in it already, so it's not that one, which means it's that one. This 5, we've got 1, 2, 3. There can only be 1 there, so the 5th one is there. So not that one. 2 means it's both of those. Because this 1 is one of these, it's not that one. Because we have 3 greens left and there's only 2 around here, it's one of these has got to be, but we don't know which one yet. This 4 means that that's not one, which means that one is. This 6 means that one of these 2 is. Oh, sorry, no, that one is. Almost made a mistake there. Yeah, that means that is, and therefore that, and therefore that. Yeah, I keep forgetting about the. I keep in my mind thinking it's diagonal adjacencies. Right, now we've still got 3 green ones to place. Still don't know which ones. This 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only one more. Don't know which one. We must be able to do something based on this 3 now. Exactly one of those is a mine. And there's 3 green ones. So if you imagine that's got to be 1, then at least one of these has to be 1. Because like if this is 1, that's still 2. So there's got to be 1 here. That completes the 3. So these grey ones around the 3 are not mines. That is. So there's 1 here, 1 here. The third one does in fact have to be this big tile. So we do that. That 2 is done. Okay, how are we going to find out which green ones it is? Oh, this 3 is done. So that's probably how we find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, once we know this 1, that will solve the rest of that for us. There are now only 4 mines left. One of them is here. One of them is here. One of them is here, and one of them is here. So there's nothing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1. That's 1. 4 is done. That's done. 1, 2, 3. That's done. That's done. That's done. Did it? Hello, Vibe Raider 3000. Thank you for raiding the Vibe over here. We're probably going to be ending in a moment because I said I'd finish 50 levels today, and we're at 3 hours and 58 minutes into the stream, so I definitely haven't got time to do another row. Thank you for redeeming your flower of the day, which is a Dittender, which is a funny name. No. Go posting memes on my Discord. Ren posted a meme on the Discord. I don't know. Ren posting on the Discord and not even coming to the stream. No, he's probably still at work. Yeah, I don't think I really have time to start any more levels, so I'm going to leave it there for today. Will I do another stream of this? Possibly. If I want to finish the whole thing, it's going to be at least 3 more streams, maybe more. And yeah, not as many people watching today as yesterday. But then as last week. But then last week was a kind of, hey, Emma's come back to streaming after a break, so that makes sense. I think I'll keep going with it unless I think of a better option. But tomorrow's stream, last week we did Preserve on Saturday. That game is still in early access, so I don't intend to continue playing it until its full release. There will be another stream of Preserve when it releases. Therefore, we need a new thing, and I am going to play another game with this little guy in it. This is Egg Potato Man from Monsters Expedition. A faceless but beloved character. We did enjoy Monsters Expedition quite a lot. Enough that I got this limited edition plushie, complete with backpack. And this guy has starred in another game. He's appeared in games before. Cosmic Express, he was the driver of the little trains. There was another puzzle game by the same developer called A Good Snowman is Hard to Build, which featured this dude pushing snowballs around. But there is a game called what was it called again? Electrifying something. Yeah, the electrifying incident, which does sound a bit like the poor guy's going to get electrocuted. The electrifying incident, a monster mini expedition. So it's not a full size game like the Monsters Expedition was. But it looks good. It has only been out a week. It has positive reviews. I obviously like the developer's other games. If anyone's interested, there's the Steam link. And if you don't want to play it yourself or don't mind spoilers, then obviously join me here tomorrow where we will be starting it. I'll have to give this guy pride of place on the shelf while we play it. Nobody redeemed Blowhigh today, so I have to cuddle this little guy instead. But yeah, I think we'll end things there for today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to LT Bago for the redeems and the various questions that were asked. Thank you Narcissistic and Creep Twin for those raids. Thank you Best Alex for the resub. We're going to look for somebody to raid now. Yes, the potato emote is actually quite appropriate for our egg potato friend. Best egg potato. I will look for somebody to raid now. If anyone has suggestions for raid targets, please do let me know. I notice Cora is still live, so we could go there. Nespa is now live. But we've gone to both of them recently. Alex says thank you for the stream. No problem. Thank you for the Alex. Oh wait, no, we haven't. No, we haven't raided Coraline recently. She raided us. Okay. Is she about to end? Because I'll raid Cora if not. Okay, no, she's not ending yet. Right, we're going to go there then. So Cora is a member of CCC Anomaly, the streaming team that includes Ophelia and many of my other favourite streamers, including Lana the Panda and Cora. That is where we will go today. Coraline. She is playing a horror game, so something very different to what I'm playing. But typical of the sort of things she plays. So if you're not okay with horror games, then you might want to dip out. But if you just stick around for the raid, spam some emotes, and then see what you think. Let me get that raid going. There we go. This channel is intended for mature audiences. This channel is a paragon of chaos. It's more like... okay, let's have a message to put in chat. I think we will use our classic cozy floral enthusiast message. So if you're subscribed, please do put that message into chat when we raid Cora. And if you're not subscribed, use any emotes you like. Use your own emotes if you prefer, or emotes of another streamer. Or if you're not sure, you can copy this message that has dancing dinosaurs on it. Show our love to Best Caller. As I say, I will be back tomorrow. I would like to do 3 streams this week. I'm trying to work up to doing 3 streams a week again. I don't want to promise right now I'll be here on Sunday, but I'll keep updates on my Discord, and I will try to be here on Sunday. And if I am, we will be playing a new game. And until then, thank you all very much for watching. And bye for now.